What's up, you guys? My name is Preston James, and you're listening to The Reflection, where we do just that for ourselves and our community so that we may lead a healthier, more positive, and productive lifestyle. Well, as always, thank you for tuning in to episode 4. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you got a chance to listen to my previous episode, my interview with Johanna Derbolowski about having different perspectives. I thought that was a really great episode, and grateful for her to have stopped by and share her knowledge with us and tell us about her book, The Transformation Promise. I thought it was a great episode. One thing I didn't do that I wanted to make up for was have a quote for that episode. So I wanted to get that out of the way because, one of my things is having a quote on every episode. So the quote for that episode, episode 3, is, "The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge." The good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. And that is Bertrand Russell. I love Bertrand Russell. But anyways, I thought it was a great quote for that episode. So just wanted to get that out of the way. I hope you guys all are doing well. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you're staying positive. Hope you're staying motivated. Hope you are pursuing your goals little by little every single day, right? Growth mindset, staying positive. That's what this podcast is all about, growing for ourselves and our community, like I say in the intro, and helping others. When, at least for me, when I help other people, I feel really good about myself. So one could argue, oh, we do it for ourselves. Well, possibly, but if I'm making the world a better place and helping other people feel better about themselves, then I'm okay with that. So please spread that positivity, help other people, encourage other people, embrace adversity, and again, stay positive. And that's what this is all about. So hopefully you're getting that in for the week. I also wanted to check in about goals, but I wanted to remind you to set your SMART goals, right? We are, and I talked about this in my first, I think it was my first episode. Yeah. About setting SMART goals. And the reason I bring up SMART goals is because it's a very effective way to achieve your goals, right? Little by little. SMART, S-M-A-R-T, the acronym, standing for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, or at least, relevant to you, and time-bound. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, right? We don't want to set goals that are unrealistic for our lives, especially with what we have going on. So we need to be realistic and set, they can be big goals, but we need to be realistic about how we're going to achieve those goals, right? I don't want you guys to just say, oh, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I can't be successful. And just be negative. Don't be negative about towards yourself. Be realistic, time-bound, set goals each and every day. Like my goal right now is I want to read more, and I have been reading. I haven't been reading up to 30 minutes. I said 20 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times out of the week. And right now it's about, maybe 3 times a week for about 15 to 20 minutes before I just knock out. So I need to increase that just by a few minutes and by a day or so. So that's my goal right now. I also have goals with my podcast. I want to boost it up and make sure I get 2 episodes out. So that's another goal I have that I'm setting right now. So increase my reading, get out another podcast for at least a few weeks in a row, have 2 out in a week. And guys, that's what I'm focusing on. My other goal was working out, which I did not do, but I did achieve my other goal, which was getting yoga in. I did a quick little meditation, breathing, 10-minute yoga the other weekend, which was great. So I did achieve that goal, knocked that down, knocked that off the list. So yes, so please set your SMART goals, visualize your success, see it happening, see you completing it, see you doing it, stay disciplined, set reminders about your goals on your phone. That'll remind you, and so you don't get so bogged down by all the things that we have going on in our lives. So do that and research other people who have succeeded with their goals. Look at other people that are achieving big goals or who have achieved big goals, right? Everybody's going through something very similar. It's all relatable. right? So check out what other people are doing or what they have done and see how they accomplish that and achieve that goal. And remember, just stay grounded. A lot going on right now. Stay positive, stay grounded, have gratitude, be mindful, practice mindfulness and gratitude, and breathe. Just breathe. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and just take it in. It's all good. It's all good. So many things have happened over time, but life will keep going. So it all matters about how we see our life. Right? That's why we have to stay positive and set these goals for ourselves. All these other things around us are going to keep happening, and we can only control our actions and reactions. That's it. Right? We've talked about that as well. We can only control what we say and what we do and how we react to things. So remember that, right? Most other things are just out of our control. We do what we can with what we can, when we can, how we can, and that's it. Period, end of story. Keep it moving. Stay positive. All right. So keep working on your goals. I would love to hear about your goals and your success and what's going on. I think I just updated some of my podcast platforms on like Spotify and Apple, where it allows you guys to send me a text, but I don't know how that works yet. So shoot me an email, thereflection.pj@gmail.com. thereflection.pj@gmail.com. Let me know how you're doing. So what are we talking about this week? If you listen to my last episode, I said we're going to be looking at taking chances and risk analysis. Oh my gosh, taking chances, right? And remember, let's reel this all in. This is all about having a better lifestyle, achieving goals, staying positive, growth mindset. I can't say that enough. And all the things I talk about are circled around those ideas and having a better life. Okay, taking chances, risk analysis. All right, so typed it into Google. What's it say? It says risk analysis, the process that involves identifying and evaluating potential threats to an organization, project, or environment, AKA you, right? The organization or project or environment is you. Specifically, it's you. That's what we're talking about. So I thought that was interesting. Identifying and evaluating potential threats. Well, risk analysis, yes. And I think with that, we do that maybe too much. We kind of get bogged down by being scared of what could happen. So we're just like, I'm just going to stay in my comfort zone. I was doing, I'll get to that in a minute, but I was doing a lot of reading on just how a lot of people that are successful and have achieved a lot will say you need to get out of your comfort zone. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how you're going to grow. So I think that's interesting that's what the risk analysis is, because we tend to do that a little too much, I think, sometimes. And we need to reel that back and take some risks and take some chances. Some examples of taking risk. I did Muay Thai. I had 2 back surgeries because of Muay Thai. So the risk of, getting injured and doing that's part of it. But I enjoyed it, changed my life. I'm forever grateful. That was a great experience. Loved it. And helped me become a better person and gave me a lot of tools and strategies for life in general. So that was a risk for getting injured, but I loved it. And the reward was way better than the risk, right? Falling in love is a risk. Getting married, that's all a risk. Some of you are in relationships right now. That's a risk. You're taking a risk, especially when you're being vulnerable. I talked about Renee Brown, I can't think that's her name, in one of her books about just being vulnerable, and you have to let that guard down, let that wall down. And that allows you to open up and make gains, make progress in your life with yourself and with other people. And your relationships will grow and just blossom in this beautiful way. Whereas if you don't, then it can just kind of hinder a lot of things in your relationship. And that doesn't just have to be your relationship in like a lover sense, but just in general. But yeah, falling in love, that's a risk. Gambling, that's a risk. And a lot of us do that. Not a gambler myself, but would like to go to Vegas. Haven't been since I was 30. I'm 38. Would like to go back. But gambling's a risk. Driving in your car is a risk. Flying in a plane is a risk. We all take risks on a daily basis and we don't even realize it. I'm saying that we take these risks, but yet we won't take the other risks that could really, really improve and better our life in a surmountable way, in a huge way, right? We don't, and I'll go over some of those that we could do in a minute, but like I did some research on this too and did some digging, and it said your chances of getting in a car accident are 1 in 5,000, right? But we drive in a car every single day, right? We don't really have a choice. I mean, I guess you could take the tram or the metro or whatever, or the bus, whatever, but we decide to take a car. So that's a risk right there. You're taking a risk already, taking chances. And a plane going down, that's 1 in 11 million. That's that risk, 1 in 11 million. But we do that as well. Maybe some of us don't, but we do. You also have a risk when you have kids. You know, thinking about my kids, you have a risk of those kids having severe disabilities and just having to do that. Like again, I'm a special education teacher, so I know how that works. I've seen it. That's not easy. I used to do ABA therapy, in-home therapy in Denver as well. And I've worked with students with severe autism and other disabilities across the board. And that's not easy with families. So you're also taking a risk by just having kids, right? And a lot of us just do that anyways. So I guess it just depends on how you see it, how you see the risk to fit, right? You analyze risk analysis, you analyze the situation and you decide what you want to do, but sometimes we kind of shun away the things we don't want to hear and we do it anyways. So one way to narrow the risk is, and I thought about this because a friend or a colleague brought this up some years ago, actually, and it stuck with me. It's called the 5 Ps. Maybe some of you have heard of it. And the 5 Ps are planned preparation prevents poor performance. Planned preparation prevents poor performance. And that narrows risks with a lot of things, especially when we give a speech or we go on a date, a bunch of different things. Planned preparation prevents poor performance. So a fight, if I was doing Muay Thai and I prepared for it and I went out there and I lost, but I planned for it, then it was not a poor performance. I did everything I could. That person may have just been better. Period. End of story. So we have to think about that as well. So please don't forget that, the 5 Ps. With that being said, I did some digging again. I keep saying that. I did some research. I did this. That's just a blanket statement. So I was reading Forbes, a couple articles in Forbes pop up on my feed. So I dug into a couple articles, and one of the authors of one of these articles I read said that we focus on what might go wrong, what we might lose or sacrifice. And I think that's a mistake. We focus on the things that could go wrong, and then it just burdens us. We're just like, oh my God, so many different things could go wrong. So then that's why we don't take certain chances or risks. We focus on the negative. Well, this could happen. A lot of things could happen. But we focus so much on that it stops us from becoming the person that we could be, right? This is all about being a better person, experiencing new things. When I was in college, I had just gotten out of a relationship, but I was deep in Muay Thai, kickboxing. I was in a band. I was living life to the fullest. Took out a bunch of student loans, so I got a bunch of money, which, whole different story now. But at the time, I was living life. Went through a breakup, really hard time for me. And then I was at school and I saw this sign that said study abroad. Never even heard of it. Never heard of it. Just started talking to people. They had this little booth. Just started talking to people. I'm a very social person, so that has played in my favor for the most part for most of my life. That is something that I can say that has benefited me in more ways than I can count. But being that social butterfly that I am, I went and talked to these people, found out about it, and I ended up doing it. Went and lived in Spain for a year. One of the best decisions I've ever had done in my life. One of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. While I was on that trip, I got to go to Morocco, Egypt. I went to Egypt, met another person over there, talked with her. She's part of my group. one thing led to another. She used to her family hosted this kid from Egypt. His family picked us up in Cairo, went around Cairo for a few days, and then down to Alexandria. Like, what? Oh my gosh, just taking chances. I had no idea, but that one thing led to another. I'm telling you, it was a snowball effect of this. Yes, things are at a risk of being away from home, getting homesick, but you got to take chances. The world is, oh man, there's so much out there, so much opportunity. Met a girl in Spain that lived in Germany, went and stayed with her for a week. She's like, oh yeah, you can come stay. I was like, cool. Went and stayed with her by myself, separated from the group, went out there for a week. Man, I had so many good experiences out there. Oh, crazy story, real quick, side note. On that trip, I was in Italy. This is going to be kind of crazy, but I was in Italy. I was traveling with this girl. We kind of got into it, so we separated. I ended up going to Madrid a day early. Well, let me say this. I was headed to Madrid a day early, and I was in a train station waiting in Milan, Italy. So I'm in Milan. I go into the bathroom, and you got to pay to go into the bathrooms there. Don't know why, but they have holes in the ground where you use the bathroom. So I'm like, oh my God, my stomach's upset. So I got to go squat for my first time in a bathroom on the other side of the world that I'm very unfamiliar with, in a country that I do not know the language. And I am by myself with this huge backpack. By myself, just paid to get into this bathroom, and I'm squatting, and this dude comes in. He's a bathroom maintenance and cleaner guy. So I'm squatting. I'm going to the bathroom. This dude barges in, goes, da mio, hala, da mi, da ni, da la. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. Because I thought I was doing something wrong. I didn't know what I was doing. This guy comes in screaming, or what I thought was screaming. In Italy, in Italian, they have this more expressive tone to their culture and their language. And so he wasn't really yelling. He was just kind of saying something to me. But I thought I was doing something wrong. And I'm in the middle of going to the bathroom. So I move, gets on my foot, and I'm just like, oh my God. So I spend the next 20 minutes cleaning my foot off, and just deconstructing what just happened in my life and what's going on. I'm already kind of sideways because I'm by myself in this bathroom in Milan on the other side of the world, in a country I don't know the language or the culture very well. It was crazy. And then after I get out of the bathroom, I'm sitting down just kind of oh my God, just let me just relax until I get to Madrid, to my hotel. Oh my God, because I was meeting my school group there, because this is right before my actual study abroad program started. So I went to a couple countries before, and then went to Madrid to meet my school group. So I'm on my way to Madrid a day early. After that happened in the bathroom in Milan, I met this dude from Australia. He's sitting there in the train station, waiting on a train. We start chopping it up, and this dude's like, well, why don't you come to Barcelona? I was like, oh, I do have an extra day. And he was like, well, I don't know where you'd stay. I guess you could try to stay at the hostel I'm staying at. And I guess the risk was there's going to be no bed. So then if I'm stuck in Barcelona, I got to wait for the next train and figure that all out. And that's a whole process, especially on the other side of the world. So we get to Barcelona. There was one bed open. I took the chance. I took the risk. There was one bed open for one night. That's all I needed. Everything lined up. Call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want, but it lined up, and it was meant to be in my eyes. So I stayed there. There's 10 to 12 other people. If you've ever stayed in a hostel, it's kind of like a dorm room. There's a bunch of different people. There's bunk beds, whatever. They all kind of look different, but they're all kind of pushed in together. It's a community bathroom. So I'm there for 24 hours, less than 24 hours. And 12 of us end up talking, getting together, and going out in Barcelona. We're all from different countries. There's me, an American, and one other American. There's 2 people from the UK, Japan, China, one from Russia, Australia, who I just told you about, Germany, France, somewhere in Spain, I can't remember, and Brazil. There's one from Brazil, and we all just came together and just had a good time. So take chances, take risks. One of the best nights of my life of going out with people from a different country, and all we were doing was just having a good time. We all went out. It didn't matter that we all didn't speak the same language. We all were there to have a good time and live life. We're not on our phones, just sitting there and being antisocial. We got together and just lived life. By the way, the next morning, I had to catch my train at 7:30. I do not know how, to this day, of getting home back to that hostel at 5 o'clock, sleeping for 2 hours, walking to the train station, again, in a country I do not know, in a city I am very unfamiliar with in Barcelona. I do not know that city. I've never been there, let alone out of the United States like that. I've been to Mexico, but not like that, not in Europe. Leave the hostel, find my way to the train station, get there on time. I like have this vivid image of me walking, of like this. It's right in the morning before the sun's coming up, so it's like this eerie kind of dark light kind of setting, and I can see like the sky and the streets, and I'm walking, and that's all I remember. And I made it, and then I made it to Madrid on time. That is all to say, take chances, take risks. What an amazing experience in my life. So, circling back, we focus on the negative and what might go wrong. Don't worry about what will go wrong. Yes, analyze it, but don't focus on it. Be smart about it, right? Be like, I don't know. You have to judge like the situation. Who are you with? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to go somewhere with people? Are you trying to give a speech? Are you trying to open a business? It all depends on what you're doing. Do your research, fill out the situation, go through gut, and be smart, but take chances. I have another quote here that's, it just says, overestimating the probability of something going wrong. We focus on that negative. And I think a part of that is how we look at it is like we must be perfect. We have to look perfect. Everything has to be perfect. That's another thing. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to take that chance of being in front of people and looking stupid. And that, my friends, is your ego. That is your ego. Just like we see in the movies. We want to be just like we see in the movies. Those people are perfect. I think Joanna talked about it and how she watched a German show and people were like balding, had not the straightest teeth, just regular clothes. Like people looked normal instead of all Hollywooded up, I guess is the way to say it. Or social media, when everyone takes that 1,000 pictures to get that one picture to make it look like this is what it actually is. Or at these events, like they live this lifestyle constantly, when really it's not like that. I know people like that. It's just not like that. But the ego gets in the way. Alan Watts, the psychologist, said the ego is a false sense of identity, and that it's a representation of the self that's created by social conditioning and language. The ego, created by social conditioning and language. Now, do I believe every single thing that I read by people, especially some of the smartest people in history? No, I don't actually believe it. I take pieces and bits of information and I make a consensus based off that information for myself, right? We can't believe every single thing that we read and see, actually, right? So we have to take a census and use our gut, intuition, our knowledge, our history, and put all these things together in this kind of conglomerate and then make the best informed decision and outlook on things. But this social conditioning language is huge. If it is that sense based off of social conditioning, then it's like it's all based off of what's around us. So we have this construction of the self based off of other people. And the ego, what is the ego to begin with? What is it? It's a person's sense of self, a psychological component of personality, your personality. And we all know the father of psychology and ego, Freud, the Austrian neurologist, and he founded psychoanalysis, which is like the human mind in 3 parts, right? The ego, the id, and the super ego. The id being the impulsive part, the pleasure, your instincts. The super ego being your morality, the correct part, your personality, the correctness, doing the right thing. And then your reality, the ego, the conscious part. I say this because if it's our ego and we don't take chances, right? It's all connected. We worry so much about other people. Our ego gets in the way. And we have to understand, what is our ego? Why is this in the way? What is this thing that's in the way? This view from other people and what should or shouldn't be, and what's right and what's wrong, and how to look and how we should or shouldn't look in society. That's all connected to our ego, right? That's why I'm bringing this up, this social construct. And Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote The Social Contract, talking about social constructivism. constructionism, sorry, which is a collective agreement between members of a society or community or organization that defines the rights, responsibilities, and obligations of each person. So we not even subconsciously, we all say, oh, we all are going to live in harmony and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. This is what's acceptable, this is what's not acceptable. And then anything that's outside of that box is weird, crazy, not of the norm. Another author, Michel Foucault, who wrote another book actually about that, things of being weird and crazy, called Madness and Civilization, which is a very hard read, but a lot of insight into what we used to think was crazy, which was actually kind of normal now, and just people who had mental health disabilities or mental health issues, I guess. I don't like to say it like that. Or even kids who I've worked with who have like autism or some sort of disability, right? They were looked at as crazy, but he talks more about that. But anyways, so social constructionism, collective agreement. So why am I talking about this? Why am I rambling on about all this? Well, if we have an ego that tells us, oh, I need to look this way. It's my current reality. It's my conscious part of my brain that says, oh, I don't want to look this way. I do want to look this way. Everyone's going to be staring at me. Oh my God, I can't hurt my ego, right? But that's all based off this social constructionism. That's all based off of this agreement, what we've all, like I said, kind of subconsciously agreed of what is acceptable and what's not. And we've all kind of put it into this box. And so it's all playing part. It's all playing part. So we have to think about that and break that down. Please break that down. Look into it. Why do I let my ego drive me so much? Why do I care so much about what other people think? At the end of the day, what's going to happen? Really? Your friends, if they're your friends, will support you, right? Your family's always going to be there. The only thing you're going to do is you can make mistakes, but like was it Louis Armstrong? I think it was Louis Armstrong who said there are no such things as mistakes. It's all about learning. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist who also worked with Freud or under Freud, said that up until the age of 40, you're just doing research. Everything is research until the age of 40. So if that's true, if you're in your teens, your 20s, your 30s, experiment, do all those things, get crazy. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't let your ego get in the way. Take risks, calculated risks, right? Calculated risks. Take chances, grow. Have that growth mindset. It's all for the ability to grow, to become a better person. That's what we're doing. We're becoming a better person, a better version of yourself. So, in my dabbles, as I was doing this research and reading, I keep saying that. It feels weird if I keep saying that. It's another thing. I don't really edit these podcasts, so this is all going to be in here because I believe in this stream of consciousness. And just like being real, authenticity. I'm all about it. I support it 100%. You got to have the authenticity. Around people sometimes that just don't have it, and it drives me crazy. It's not real. It's just people aren't themselves, and they just try to be somebody else. Again, that's part of that social constructionism. That's just people telling you what you should and shouldn't do, and how you should look and how you should act. But no, be yourself. Be you. Be confident with who you are. Be comfortable with who you are. Have pride. Be confident. You matter. It matters. You need to be comfortable with who you are. So this lady named Margie Worrell, sorry if I mispronounced that, PhD, and when I was reading this Forbes article, said that women are the biggest culprits when it comes to underestimating their abilities and buying into self-doubt, right? We can break that down. I think some of us know why that is. Over history, traditionally, women were supposed to stay in the kitchen and have kids and not talk when a man's talking and be a wife and not say much and just have X, Y, and Z to do, and that's it. When we know now that that's not okay. Far from okay. Far from the truth, and shouldn't be at all. Right? We've come a far way, a long way. But I thought that was interesting. because that makes me sad. I was raised by just my mom. It was just me and her. I didn't have a dad. Well, I obviously have a dad, but he wasn't around. Quick little backstory. He tried to meet me when I was 13. I said no, didn't know why. I reflected on that later. And I was like, oh, probably just wasn't in the right mind. Now working with middle school kids, I get it. You're all over the place when you're in middle school. And then again, right before I actually came out to California, and he canceled. And I was like, I'm done with this dude. So that was like at the age of 30. And I was like, I'm done. Nope. But anyways, he wasn't around. So it was just me and my mom, raised by a strong woman, working a couple jobs, doing the best she could. So when I hear this, because of self-doubt, it's like society, this social contract, actually, over time has said that women should be here and do this, while man is free to do whatever. They get all the opportunities and they should take the risks and the chances, but no, a woman's got to stay in her place, right? That's what I think she's trying to say. Like, not that, but I think this self-doubt stems from that. Right? She's just saying that this is what is more often than not. Women are underestimating themselves. Ladies, please do not do that. Be confident with who you are as well. Please succeed. Growth mindset. A great recommended read about this specifically, tailored to the ladies out there, is Simone de Beauvoir, a French philosopher, writer, and feminist activist before her time, right? She wrote a book called The Second Sex, and she talked about this, where literally woman was the second sex, right? Her basic question in this book is, what is woman? What is a woman? What is woman? This part says, she argues that a man is considered the default while woman is considered the other, right? Thus, humanity is male, and man defines woman, not herself, but as relative to him, right? Human, man, and then woman is just kind of like there. So she describes and breaks down this sort of relationship of what a woman is in society in this book. And actually, fun fact, is it was banned by the Vatican from 1949 to 1966. That's how much they were in their traditional values. Right, it was like that for so long. So going back to what Margie Worrell was saying, is that this self-doubt stems from all these things, is my opinion and my consensus. But don't let that be the case. Please don't let that be the case. Check out Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex. Take a risk. Start a business. Start a podcast. Go on a date. Maybe there's somebody that you're like, I don't know. Go on a date. Try it. Be smart, but go on a date. Try something new. Food, movies, something sexually. Art. Draw something. Go to a painting class. Cooking. Go to a cooking class. Move somewhere. I moved to LA to pursue my dream, and that's what I'm doing right now as I talk to you in this very studio. Move somewhere, get a new job, or at least apply for one and see what happens. Invest in something small, maybe not don't go too crazy. Invest in something small. Gamble. Ooh, Vegas, right? We talked about that a little bit ago. Give a speech. Speak up at work. Giving a speech, again, don't let the ego get in the way. That's our biggest hurdle nowadays, especially with social media. That's our biggest hurdle, is our ego. How are we going to look? Some of us are better about it than others, but I think it holds a lot of us back, of how our reflection onto others and how we think other people see us, right? And vice versa. Do a meetup group. When I was in Denver, I did a meetup group because I was doing anything I possibly could to work on more music. I wanted to get better at music. I didn't have any connections to anybody in the studio. There's not a lot of studios out in Denver like there are out here in LA. So I didn't have any experience. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to. So I went on Meetup, the app, and found a recording, mixing, and production group, primarily focused on production with the DAW, Digital Audio Workstation Live, Ableton Live. And I was like, I'll take it. That was the closest thing I could relate to at the time. Didn't know much more else. So I just went to it, met some people, had a great time, learned a lot of stuff. Didn't work out because I left there shortly after. But it was a great experience. Glad I did it. Met a bunch of cool people, stayed in touch for a while, and then just kind of fell apart. But that's okay. Again, I took a chance. I wanted to have growth. I wanted to pursue my dream. This is my goal. So I needed to do every single thing I knew I could to achieve that goal. And sometimes you just won't know the right direction. But if you don't take these chances and risks along the way, then you're not going to really know how to narrow that path to find that right job or that right career or that right path for you in general. That thing you're looking for. Some of us have a thing we're looking for, but we're not really sure what it is. Well, I'm telling you right now, taking chances and getting out of your comfort zone is a really good place to start. Because if you're staying in that comfort zone, I promise you, you're not going to find what that is. That path is not going to open up for you. It's just going to stay kind of in the distance, in the background, scratching the back of your head, telling you, I'm here, but you need to get out of this box and comfort zone to find out what I am. That was me speaking like on the back of your head. So get out. Get out of your comfort zone. Go see what's going on in the world. Please do it. What are we talking about overall? We're talking about personal growth. We're talking about new opportunities. We're talking about more success. And we're talking about gaining confidence, right? A confidence is attractive to anybody. Confidence is one of those things where you can just tell someone's confident when they're walking down the street, right? You see this confidence and just kind of this energy just draws you in. Confidence is attractive. Taking chances, taking risks, having new opportunities, finding new opportunities, growing as a person, having the success gives us confidence. And when we have confidence and we have this good energy, anything is possible. Oh, I can do, like, you know what I'm talking about. When you accomplish something like a race or a goal or something at home, even just doing the dishes. Whenever I do the dishes, I always look at the area and I go, yeah, I did that. Like, I feel accomplished. It's a small task. When I make the bed, I feel accomplished. Like I did that, right? There was a Navy SEAL, and maybe some of you have seen it. He gives this speech for this college and graduation. He basically just talks about you need to start every day off with making your bed. Right? And then everything else after that will fall in line. Like you're being organized for the day. You're having discipline and structure throughout your day. And that will allow you to stay organized and structured throughout the rest of your day. And I thought that was great. And I try to do that a lot. It's stuck with me. And for the most part, it works. Like, sometimes I even forget that that's what I did in the morning, but it works for the most part. I start my day off feeling accomplished, like I already accomplished something. And that feeling is good, and that brings confidence. And confidence brings success, it brings opportunities, and it brings growth. Right? Well, I appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to The Reflection with your host, Preston James. And I just, I'm kind of stuttering here because before I started doing this podcast tonight, I was thinking about just how a lot of people, it doesn't even make me mad. It just makes me sad that there's so much potential and opportunity out there for people that I talk with a coworker, and I just want the best for people. I want the best for you guys. I really do. And I don't even know you. Some of you listening to this, I obviously do know you, but I truly, sincerely, with all my heart, soul, and being, I want the best for people. I want people to be happy. I want people to be successful. I want to see you win. I truly, truly do. I don't know, honestly, why that is. And just being a people person as I am, I've told you before, I told you earlier tonight, that I'm very social butterfly. And I love people. I like to see people win. People aren't always the best, but that's okay. I don't base my personality and how I am towards people based off of how people, some of the shitty people are out there towards me, right? That's their problem, right? I have to think about that every time someone does something shitty. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to do this. No, I'm not. I'm not going to treat them like that because that's not how I am. I'm not going to bring myself down to their level. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's so true. Because if I start doing what they've done to me or have that shitty attitude, then I literally have sunken down to that level. And that's not who I am as a person. So I urge you to think about that as your day goes on and you come up with these, or you have these occurrences with people. right? Stay focused on who you are. Stay focused on your goals. Stay positive. Have that growth mindset. I think I've said that a lot tonight, but it's very true. And for our quote today, to end the episode, it's by Seneca, the Roman philosopher. It is not because things are difficult that we dare not venture. It is because we dare not venture that they are difficult. No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. Whew, that's a lot there. That's a lot to unpack. It is not because things are difficult that we dare not venture. It is because we dare not venture that they are difficult. And no man or woman is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity. Love you guys. Be safe. Again, my name is Preston James. You're listening to The Reflection, where we do just that for ourselves and our community so that we may lead a healthier, more positive, and productive lifestyle. Love you guys.